Hello everyone and welcome to the sophomore episode of our monthly show rounding up some of the most noteworthy new releases in the realm of physical media of the linear video variety. Here are March 2026's biggest 4K and Blu-ray releases.
You only have one shot.
That's all we need.
Hang on!
Now before we get into it, a friendly reminder that this video is not a 100% comprehensive roundup of every single thing coming out this month, and that while a few things might fall through the cracks, a few that we mention might not be readily available in your area, so for best results, always check your local listings, and if there's something major that we left out, feel free to shout it out in the comments below. Now let's get into it. On March 3rd, Edgar Wright's spin on The Running Man hits all surviving optical media formats. My condolences to the Laserdisc and HD DVD crowd. From what I've gathered, this is a more faithful adaptation of the novel by Stephen King's alter ego than the 1987 Schwarzenegger version was, but it still took some liberties with the source material. If you'd like to compare the two side by side, there is also a new 2-movie collection, though it likely does not include the best Running Man adaptation of the late 90s, the $2.7 million music video for the song Victory by Puff Daddy featuring Notorious B.I.G. and Busta Rhymes, and also Dennis Hopper and Danny DeVito for some reason. Music video starring Diddy as a celebrity fugitive certainly hits differently in light of recent events, but it's still somehow more grounded than the 1987 Running Man.
I'll be back. Only in a rerun.
If you would prefer animals doing martial arts to a man running, Kung Fu Panda 3 is getting a 4K Blu-ray release, which is also included in the Kung Fu Panda 4 movie collection, which is exactly what it sounds like. If you threatened me with a deadly martial arts technique and asked me how many Kung Fu Panda films there have been so far, I would have guessed way more than 4, but I'm probably confused by the smattering of shorts, animated series, video games, and apparently also a stage play there have been since the original first came out.
Get out here, panda jerk!
Great story.
Another confusingly prolific media franchise with an animal in the title is the Pink Panther, and on March you can get The Return of the Pink Panther in UHD, which is the 4th in the Pink Panther film franchise, but only the 3rd to star Peter Sellers as Inspector Clouseau, and only the 2nd to have the words Pink Panther in the title, and unless I'm mistaken, it doesn't actually feature any literal exotic felines of any unusual color, so you can figure that out one for yourself.
What sort of stupid question is that? Are you blind? Yes.
If you prefer purple sphinxes to pink panthers, you might be better off with Dragon Ball, and on March 2nd you can grab Dragon Ball Daima The Complete Season, which is an awkward way of saying the first season, which also may wind up being the complete series if it never gets a second season, and considering that 2 new Dragon Ball shows were just announced with no mention of more Daima, it might be the case. Anyway, if you missed the memo, the plot of Daima is the entire cast has been turned into babies, and a few of them head into a demon realm to sort it out, and from the chunk of it that I watched, it felt like a weird amalgamation of the earliest parts of Dragon Ball and the very latest mystical parts of the Buu saga, for better and for worse. That is available as a regular and limited edition. If a demon realm isn't a strange or new enough world for you, you can boldly go pick up Season 3 of Star Trek Strange New Worlds instead, and if you think I should stop working boldly go into scripts when talking about Star Trek, sue me, or go to hell, or both. Speaking of suing people and going to hell, on March 10th you can watch a young lawyer played by Keanu Reeves accept a position at a law firm run by Satan, played by Al Pacino.
Look, but don't touch. Touch, but don't taste.
You can also watch a kooky cartoon western about a chameleon played by Johnny Depp in Rango, and of course you can grab Game of Thrones, the complete collection, HBO's hit adaptation of a book series that is still not complete itself. Look, they might not have stuck the landing, but 4 out of 8 seasons isn't half bad. Actually, yes, it is, but at least those first 4 seasons are a blast, so there's that.
I'm not entirely sure what you're suggesting.
I'm entirely sure you're entirely sure what I'm suggesting.
Finally, on the 10th, if you are a Francophile anime fan, aka a weeaboo, you might enjoy Little Amelie or The Character of Rain, which probably isn't a prequel to the 2001 live-action Jean-Pierre Jeunet film, but it's pretty surreal, so it might be. If you prefer anime of the conventional Japanese variety, on March 17th, you can grab The Boy and the Beast as a 4K steelbook, the 2015 film from the spectacular Mamoru Hosoda, who also gave us The Girl Who Leapt Through Time, Summer Wars, and Wolf Children, all of which are great and worth watching if you haven't seen them. Arrow Video has a 4K release of The Birthday, a Spanish film that is a cult horror in both senses of the word and which premiered way back in 2004 but faded into obscurity before getting a re-release 20 years later, which is right about now, and it notably stars Corey Feldman acting really weird in a deliberate theatrical sense rather than just how weird he's been acting in general since then.
Is that good? You like that?
Finally, on March 17th, if you somehow haven't bought Jurassic Park enough times, you can do it all over again, this time with updated Dolby Vision and Atmos support, along with The Lost World, Jurassic Park 3, and Jurassic World. I've been working my way through these with my kid using my old 2K Blu-rays like an old man, and I'm seriously tempted to grab a new version strictly because of how fucking clunky that old Universal interface is. Have they improved that in newer releases? Please let me know in the comments. I would like to spend less time shuffling around in the menus.
Magic word.
Please! God damn it! Hate this hacker crap!
On March 24th, you can revisit the penultimate Coen Brothers movie that the duo worked on together with a new UHD release of Hail Caesar, the absolutely star-studded McCarthy-era comedy mystery. Would that it were so simple to see Joel and Ethan Coen working together again?
Would that it were so simple.
Would that it were so simple.
Would that it were so simple.
Would that it were.
That day also sees Killers of the Flower Moon inducted into the Criterion Collection, which includes a new Scorsese-approved 4K remaster with Dolby Atmos soundtrack, as well as a few documentary segments about how the film was made as a whole, how they got the final shot, and even how they made the Criterion release's new cover art. If you'd like to get the bad taste of last year's bargain bin budget Red Sonja reboot out of your mouth, you can grab the 1985 high fantasy classic, which makes the new one look like high art in comparison, though going in with that mindset might give you unrealistically high expectations, unless of course you are really high. That's from Arrow Video, so in addition to a new restoration, you can also expect more bonus features than you can swing a broadsword at. Now, if you'll allow a brief aside, as I've gotten older, I've come to feel that the mecha designs in Gundam Wing are unrealistically stylized compared to the relatively grounded aesthetics of the original series' Universal Century timeline, undermining the whole real robot subgenre that Mobile Suit Gundam helped pioneer. However, the 3-episode OVA Endless Waltz dares to ask maybe they're not stylized enough. Who says a giant robot can't have huge mechanized angel wings that drop feathers for some reason, or bat wings for that matter, or a fucking poncho? Why would you make a poncho for a 50-foot tall war machine? Well, because it looks cool. You know what else looks cool? Endless Waltz's absolute banger of a theme song, White Reflection, and if you're not gonna buy Endless Waltz on 4K Blu-ray, at the very least, go watch some AMVs for that song because it f***ing rips. It is a damn good month for giant mechs in ultra high definition because on the 31st, you can grab the complete series of the pre-Gundam robot anime Voltes 5, as well as Zone of the Enders Perfect Collection, which includes the OVA 2167 Idolo and the complete series Dolores I. I, Max, never got into Zone of the Enders, but it will always hold a very special place in my heart because the first game included a demo disc for Metal Gear Solid 2, which I played obsessively over the summer of 2001 in between building Gundam models while listening to White Reflection. Also on the 31st is a 4K release of Little Nicky, the ill-fated turn-of-the-century Adam Sandler box office bomb about the youngest son of Satan sent to Earth in search of his hellion older brothers. I'm not sure what kind of reception they expected this movie to have, but it somehow got a Game Boy Color game and a whole line of McFarlane toys, which I always thought was sort of weird. Still that day, Arrow Video's got a new version of Tobe Hooper's original adaptation of the Stephen King vampire story Salem's Lot, which you can watch as a feature film or in its original 2-episode TV miniseries format. Meanwhile, Criterion has an all-new remaster of The Blade, the 1995 Hong Kong wuxia film about a one-armed swordsman, though with one arm I think you can only be a sword man. And finally, if you'd like to see a film about a deadly pandemic sweeping across America that seems positively quaint post-COVID, Shout Factory has a new collector's edition of Outbreak, starring Dustin Hoffman, Morgan Freeman, Rene Russo, and Binks the Capuchin Monkey, who you may know from other films including Ace Ventura and George of the Jungle.
No.
Contrary to popular belief, it's not the same monkey that plays Ross Geller's pet monkey Marcel on Friends, and now you know.
Hey, that monkey's got a Ross on his ass.
So there you have it, a roundup of some of the notable movie releases coming to 4K Blu-ray this month. Bear in mind, many of these may be out in other formats already, or may have already been released in other territories, or may have been released in other territories in other formats. If you're looking for a quick way to find links to all of these movies I mentioned in this video in one place, plus ones released earlier this year and ones coming next month, IGN has a regularly updated article dedicated to exactly that. You can find that by using this handy QR code on the screen somewhere near my head. That does it for this episode. Let us know in the comments if there's anything major we missed, and thank you so much to everybody who left such nice comments on last week's episode. That was really, really lovely to see. We are hoping enough people watch these videos that it's worthwhile for us to keep making them. So if you want to see more of these, just share this video with anyone you think might be interested, and if you decide to pick up any of those movies, doing that through the referral links in that article I linked out helps us out majorly. If you want to look ahead at all the games coming out in March, we've got a video covering that, so go check that out. And as always, for everything movies, shows, anime, gaming, and entertainment in general, keep it locked to IGN.